today I have a review of the book Quarantine by Lex Thomas. This is The Loners, book 1. Book 2 comes out July 9th. I already checked that as soon as I finished. I have a question to throw out there first of all. Which of you loved high school enough that you never wanted to leave? In Quarantine, that's pretty much just what happens. These kids go to school one day and a virus infects the student body, leaving them infected with a disease that, although it's not deadly to them, is lethal to adults. So as a result, their school is quarantined off and the students can't leave the school until the virus leaves their system, at which point they're scanned and given clearance to exit the school. So the environment that's created within this school is cutthroat. The social groups that before were really harmless now become deadly. I mean, you have your varsities, pretty ones, sluts, geeks, nerds, skaters, burnouts. The people who don't have a gang are called scraps, but you pretty much need a gang in order to survive. Those who don't have a group, the scraps, pretty much have to fend for themselves, and it's really hard to do so. So David and Will are brothers, and David's the eldest, Will's the younger brother, and they're scraps until a year or so after the quarantine. They form their own group, the Loners, and those are pretty much all the scraps just coming together to form a gang. The major conflict in this book is between Sam, who's the leader of the varsity, and David. David's kind of seen as a threat to Sam's power, so Sam just hates that and he just has to get David killed. And there's just a lot of violence that happens in this book. Lex Thomas really doesn't shy away from painting a gruesome picture, and there were many times in this book I found myself just really cringing when I was reading some of the descriptions of things that were happening. I think this book reads kind of like a zombie apocalypse book or like an end of the world book, something like that, because these people are truly desperate to survive, and it's that whole survival aspect in this high school arena. Now for Will, I can understand that you would be annoyed with your older brother because he's the more popular one and he's the leader of the scraps, and I mean the girl that Will is in love with happens to love his brother, which I mean that is annoying, but in the environment created by the quarantine, these petty grudges don't really have a place. The bigger picture is that if you want to survive in the quarantine, you have to work together, and Will just doesn't really seem to understand or grasp that concept. So my question for you is, what gang do you think you'd be in? I mean, I personally would like to be in the nerds because they have the medical aspect and then they love books, so I think most of us would like to be in the nerds. Or I would be a loner because that pretty much defines my high school existence, although realistically I would be one of the first ones killed. Another thing I have to wonder about this book is how accurate of a depiction this would be if this were actually to happen in real life. I mean, I'm trying to think of my high school and I couldn't imagine students getting that violent and that cutthroat with each other, but this is a survival mode type of deal, so I really don't know how people would act. I would hope that if I was in this situation, if my high school was in this situation, we would hold on to our humanity longer than they did in this book. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a really great action-packed, fast-paced novel. If you're looking for a book that will hold your attention from the start to the finish, then Quarantine really is the book for you. I'll talk to you guys next time. Happy reading.